Today's topic, we are being led by Dr. Moondde. Dr. Moondde is a household name by now for us. He is a seasoned language teacher, an examiner, an administrator, currently heading Mukushi Copper Mine School in Mukushi. He's taking us through some themes in Woyengi. As you are all aware, Woyengi is a newly introduced book to the syllabus in literature in English for 2022-2024 period. I implore you to actively participate when we open the plenary session. Our host is Mr. George Kanyama. I am the moderator, Chief Lazaro Sinkala. I ask, please, all of you to mute yourselves. Everyone, please mute yourself. At this point, allow me to welcome Dr. Moondde to drive us through. Over to you, Dr. Moondde.
Thank you so much, the host and the moderator, Chief Lazaro. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are looking at Woyengi in a special way because we are going to cover enough material. Now, those who might have missed the first presentation, I think this play, we know that it was written by Ijimere and it has characters inside there. And the play, Woyengi, gives us something that is not very usual. It's a very good play altogether. What we discover there is Woyengi is the goddess. He's being praised by the sword bearers. So it's like at a stage is set, and now Woyengi sits in the middle of the stage, and creatures without form are on either sides. Then they come to Woyengi in front, and now Woyengi gives them to make choices. There are 5 creatures in this book. They appear on the stage, and Woyengi is giving them, to choose. What are they choosing? 1, they have to choose whether to be male or female. The manner of life and the manner of life, what to achieve on earth, and how long they are going to live. These human beings, they have to choose the sex, the manner of life, what to achieve on earth, and how long they are going to live on earth. So Woyengi gives them to choose. So choices by the creatures. Now here, I'll go through quickly. So when these creatures come on stage, Woyengi gives them time to choose. I'll go quickly. The first creature in this instance, as we are watching the drama, the play, the creature chooses to be created male, to be a warrior, to have fame, to be famous. Also, it wants to die by sword in his prime of life. So this male wants to be a warrior, then he wants to die to have fame, and after having fame, he wants to die by the sword in the prime of life. So Woyengi says this is fine for this first creature, and it is going to be just like that. Then the next creature, the second one, it chooses to be created male, rooted to the soil, to see the yam shoot climb up the pole, to see the corn glean on the cob like teeth, to own a palm wine that hums, to have children and grandchildren. What a choice. Then also, this character chooses to grow old. He wants to die peacefully in the sleep. And Woyengi okays the choice of the second creature too. Those who have read the copy, you understand this summary. The third one, the creature chooses to be created female and just to grow in the protection of the home and die at the age of 7 years. So this one will die as an infant. It will not do any bigger jobs, but just to be born, live for 7 years, and the heat of the sun should burn her brain and get back to Woyengi. Creature 4, she chooses to be born female, to be a mother, to bear children until her womb dries up. This is very, very important for our lady folk. Bear children until her womb dries up. She wants to have grandchildren. Again, she wants to joyously live with her children and grandchildren, and she wants to die with joy in her heart. When she has all this, she can die with joy in her heart. And now Woyengi says, let your choice, take a course. Live according to your choice. The fifth one, quickly, she wants to be created female, but she doesn't want to have children. Okay? What does she want? She wants to have power and share secrets with Woyengi. Childless, no wealthy. She wants to learn the secrets of the leaves and the herbs, to be able to heal people, to be able to provide. There are so many things that we provide from the people that understand the secrets of the leaves and the herbs. There is one concoction that I know that is very popular amongst some people. It is cause for those who have the secrets of the leaves and the herbs, that they can be there to help, the community. She wants to command the spirit. There are people who can command and remove spirits from some people who are maybe sick spiritually. They're able to command. They want to heal. They can heal the way, this creature wants. She wants to heal, to kill. She wants to be second to Woyengi. She wants to die when she bests power. When she has healed, she has grown with a lot of fame. She wants to die after that. These are the 5 creatures that we see on the stage as the play opens. Given, you choose and choose wisely. And now they have chosen. Now we move to scene 2 in this novel. We have Lake. This is the woman who chooses to have children and grandchildren and die peacefully afterwards with joy. On the other side is Overinna. Overinna is the one who chooses not to have children. She's attending to her patients. She's healing. She's, saving the community as a medicine woman. This is a very good arrangement. Lake is also happy. This is where, when you are watching, our play, we see these 2 homesteads. The homestead of Lake, the woman who chooses to have children and have them in abundance. The other homestead is of Overinna, busy with healing the people that have problems. Very good 2 communities. Now, as this happens, those who have read the copy very well, Overinna is, not happy about not having children. So, to this Overinna, this Lake, she looks sad, though she denies it. Overinna tells Lake that she can no longer bear the childless situation. She chose to be barren and have power. Now today, she feels she's longing for children, okay? She wants to challenge her fate. She wants Woyengi to recreate her womb. And she's telling Lake that I'm going there. I'm going to confront Woyengi so that she can change my destiny. She can recreate me and possibly have children the way you have. Here, when you read the copy, it will tell you that the friend volunteers to even give a child one to Overinna so that she doesn't, confront the goddess, because none in the community has had an encounter with the Woyengi. So she pleads, friends are good people because they advise. I move on. We see scene 3, Woyengi leaves. She doesn't get the advice from the friend. What are friends for? Friends are to, they get pump in wisdom into us. They tell us what we should do. Then we see how we can choose wisely. But here, Overinna, does not get what Lake is saying. She just wants to go and confront Woyengi. Overinna leaves to challenge Woyengi, the goddess. She meets the king of the forest. They wrestle. After wrestling, she wins the battle. By the way, as she moves, she's with her 2 spirits. The Isembi has also 2 spirits. After Isembi is defeated, as she journeys to meet Woyengi, she also goes with 2 spirits from Isembi. Then as she moves, she meets Olokan, the king of the sea. They wrestle also because these kings are advising Overinna that no one has ever done what you want to do. You can't challenge your creator. But she insists, wrestles with these 2, kills them. She proceeds as she gains more power, because the power of Isembi, the power of Olokan are also picked. She goes with them. She reaches the kingdom of the cock. This is a very serious kingdom, but they wrestle and wrestle, they fight. At the end, the cock is defeated. So Overinna has more power now as she traverses going to meet Woyengi, the creator. She arrives with enough power to the eternal effing realm of Woyengi. She finds Woyengi, the creator. Okay. So Woyengi is angry with Overinna. In her rage, she stripped Overinna of all the powers. Now you can see, you were a local champion at some point. Now, because you can't get wisdom, you are, overambitious, you want to wrestle with the authorities, to wrestle with the creator. She's stripped of all powers. And Overinna is overcome by fear. She turns from the face of Woyengi and flees. That's the only thing you can do. She flees, she runs away. She has failed to say anything normal about the recreation that she has followed. Okay, so what does she do? She runs away to Lake, the friend, that one who has children. We find Lake is highly pregnant. Where did she hide? She hides in the wrapper of this pregnant woman. Then Woyengi looks for her and finds her. She sees Overinna in Lake's eyes, where she lives forever. Now, this is where we start what we have come here for today. The possible themes in the play Woyengi. What are the themes? This is just a story, as it is, given in this play. So I'll quickly look at the themes. At the end of it all, if there is one other theme that I might have missed, please, let's find it and be able to add it to what we have today. Okay, what is a theme in the literary works? We say a theme is an idea about life exposed in a piece of literary work. It's an idea a writer wishes to expose, reveal to the reader. A theme is not stated directly in a literary work. Think about all the elements of the literary works and make an inference or an educated, presumption. So this is how we find the theme. Here we are asking ourselves, what does this story mean? How can we apply it in our lives. So here we are saying the theme, we are trying to find out the meaning and what does this play mean? How can we apply it in our lives? So in the play, Woyengi, we can guess the following and many other themes. All right. This one, the importance of making good and wise choices in life, is very, very important. When you are given time to choose wisely. You have to make a very wise, choice, because if you miss, you might have problems in future. Who made the wrong choices amongst the 5 creatures? You know it better. So in everything that we do as human beings on earth, created by our God, or is it goddess, we need to make good choices. We need to make wise choices in our lives. Already you are able to tell me who didn't make good choices in this play and who does make good choices in this our play. So the choices that one makes in life are never easy, and one faces many of them in one's lifetime. The play Woyengi by Overinna Ijimere is a narrative in which creatures, persons are faced with the choices of a road that creatures, persons have to take. So the impacts of the life choices. When you make a choice, there are small choices and bigger choices. Now, here we are looking at life choices. So because life is made up of an unlimited amount of choices, most decisions might seem small and only slightly impactful, but it's the big decisions, the ones that can change one's life forever. So all this is just an explanation of if you don't make a wise choice as a human being, as we live, we might injure ourselves as we live. So the blame in this play could not be put on anyone else but the creatures in question. These creatures, 5 of them, whatever they chose is what Woyengi occurs. Okay? Now, so Woyengi, approach then my creatures and choose your fate. He is giving good instructions. I like this one. They are not just doing it impulsively. No, she directs. After the songs by the sword bearers, she's happy and now asks the creatures to approach. As they approach, they have to choose their fate. After choosing their fate, they have, to choose wisely. So apart from this one, we have what we call this theme, lack of contentment. We have people who are never satisfied with what they have. It's very sad. If it were a lecture, there's something that I say to my children, to my students and pupils: lack of contentment. Who lacks contentment in this book? Who is not satisfied with her choice in this book? It's Overinna, because of what she does, as from the narration that is given above. So even in life, there are times when some of our members, maybe including our people here in the auditorium, they are never satisfied. They are not content. They would rather they were born a man. They would rather they were born a woman. How do we speak? How do we say this? It's because of what they do. It's because of what they how they carry themselves. So let us be content of what we have been given, what God has endowed us with. So the lack of contentment is highlighted when Overinna is not satisfied with the life she chose by herself, and out of her own will. She possesses magic powers and nobody else has. She has the power to heal and prophecy. However, she's not content as her focus is now on the neighbor, Lake's choice of life. Lake could not heal or prophesy, but she, is happy because her focus is to make good use of her choice. How does she make good over her choice? She has to bear the children until the womb dries up. She has to wait for her grandchildren. She's happy with the choice, but Overinna is not content. So many things that we can talk about here, but all we can say is Overinna, like some of you, like some of us, are not satisfied with what we are able to manage and what we have. That's a theme on its own in this book. So now, greedy is one part, jealousy is another theme, and envy is another. Who is greedy in this play? Overinna. Who is jealous? Overinna. Who is envious? Overinna. It comes out in the play because of the way she carries herself. Overinna's greed is an inordinate desire to acquire or possess more than what she needs and asked for in the beginning. You ask for something, then you're not satisfied with it, which is very unfair. Her desire can be described as a bottomless pit, which exhausts the person in an endless effort to satisfy the need without ever reaching satisfaction. It is difficult. You can't be satisfied with what you have if you are not content, bound. Let us be content with what we have. So Ijimere here is critically using Overinna to criticize those who seek excessive, e.g. material wealth. We have people who seek wealth as though it were life. There are people who seek excessive power to administer, power to rule. Here, it reminds me of the book, Kongi's Harvest. You see, the amount of power that is leveled against one person should satisfy that person, or else it usually leads into problems. So Ijimere points out that one individual consequence of greedy activity may be an inability to sustain any of the cost or burdens associated with that which has been or is being accumulated, leading to a backfire or destruction, whether of self or more generally others. Such type of greed, such type of envy and jealous, it costs you, When it costs you, usually the end result is not good. Sometimes you can even destroy the neighborhood, even your children. It becomes infectious. People, let us try not to envy, not to have a lot of jealous. So other outcomes may include degradation of social position or exclusive from community protections. These are some of the consequences if you are greedy. These are some of the consequences if you are envious and jealous person. We see this in the play. So you can talk and talk, but Ijimere is telling us to be introspective whenever we are faced with Overinna's situation. When envy catches you, it catches you unawares. Who speaks this? Jealous catches unawares. I find it in the Song of Lawino. by Okot P. Bitek. Lawino says, envy and jealous catches someone unawares. So if you are faced by Overinna's situation, for the person who stares back at us from the depth of another person's eyes is no other than you or ourselves. Look at yourself. When you start feeling that envy, when you start feeling that jealous, when you start feeling that greedy, look at yourself. Please choose wisely so that you are able to protect yourself, myself, and the neighborhood. Overinna is seen in scene 2 standing and admiring, like this one we have discussed, and this is where we see a lot of the jealousy, greedy, and envy in the entire play. Wow. Ambition and pride is one other theme that is projected clearly in this play. So, yeah, pride is defined as feeling of self-respect and personal worth. There are people who think they are more people than others. That's why even steps are manufactured, even looks are manufactured. You want to be higher in esteem than any other people of near. This is what engulfs Overinna in this play. She is very proud. She prides herself. Ijimere here now is teaching us that it is the characteristic of excessive confidence or arrogance that leads a person to believe that they can't go wrong. When you are advised, pride impedes, hinders someone to get a correct advice. They will justify anything because they think they are better than other people. The overwhelming pride causes flaws on Overinna. Pride and of ambitiousness can cause someone to be short-sighted. You can't think tomorrow. You just think in the egocentric, situation. You become very irrational or harmful behavior in someone, for they do not consider the opinion of or effects on others when behaving. With them, when they say what they say, who can control them? Overinna here has a problem. Overconfident, arrogant. Okay? So when we are caught by, pride, this is what comes out. Difficult to be controlled. The play, Woyengi, pride and ambition is an observable idea. Overinna, her pride in being overly ambitious makes her feel and think the earth is not her match, and she wants to move on to something greater. Be careful, my brother, be careful, my sister. She embarks on a battle on which she defeats Sisembi, Olokan, and the Kok. And now with this, temporal, conquest, she prepares to meet Woyengi. I listened, this is, she says, I listen to know one is command. I'm Overinna, that is in this play, on that page. So, Olokan refers to her as proud creature, if you read on page 124. Overinna uncontrolled pride and ambition causes her not to reason properly or consider the consequences of her actions. Same. If you become proud, you think you know it all. People will advise and you leave. You might move 3-4 steps with balance, but the consequence that comes thereafter is usually deadly. So she further states, let it be the last, who cares? This is the Overinna who doesn't care. She just wants to move. and meet the goddess. Unfortunately, this pride and ambition has led her to lack of the ability to consider the opinions of her friend. She tries, tries, at least to bar, Overinna from traveling to meet the goddess. But the ability to just consider the opinions of a friend. The friends are very important colleagues. They're very, very important people. But because of pride and her ambition, she can't consider all this. And also the warnings of the kings she encounters on her way to Woyengi. They tried to warn her. You are doing the impossible, but she proceeds. So all this, it leads now the downfall of Overinna. I get to the next theme. One cannot fight supreme authority. Here, if we are not mixed, I would have mentioned the relationship between teachers and administrators, beginning from the HOD-ship, deputy head, and head teacher himself. But for now, I think we can just end it here. One cannot fight supreme authority. Who is this one? It is still Overinna. With respect to the order of creation, the created being cannot downfall the creator. A lesser god or goddess is subject to a greater god or goddess. In the play, Overinna is created by who? By Woyengi, meaning her quest to challenge the goddess of creation proves to be what? To be futile. You can't just remember this story of Lucifer and God in heaven. Those who read the Bible, I'm not sure if it's there in the Quran, but in the Bible, I'm very sure. In the Old Testament, we find this story of, is it Old Testament or New Testament? Okay, somewhere in the Bible. Lucifer was just a creature. The same way Overinna is just a creature. Woyengi is a creator. So you can't fight authority if you are rude. Get sense from the ruler and find your position in the kingdom. Lack of wisdom is another theme that we transplanted from this book. Who lacks wisdom? It's again Overinna. So this also displays Overinna's lack of wisdom at all. The powers she owns are given by the goddess. She wishes to now challenge. You can't just. You can't. As we read the play, for example, Woyengi, pointless, mad woman. Will you challenge the order of, she's just now, Woyengi, castigating the creature. Can you do this, surely? It's very, very possible. I quickly move to glorification of women. I think here, a long tradition of negativism towards women had led to the oppressive moral ideology whose prescriptions for virtue involved silencing women and facing their submission to men. At least here we have, Woyengi is a goddess, and a woman who is stubborn. At least we want some people as ingredient of life to have such characters. Talk about the one who made good choices, a very good woman. So at least there is a balance here. Women are recognized. They are good people. They can also make things as men do. So in the creation myth, places the origin of humanity at the feet of a supreme being called Woyengi, female, she who creates. So this is what we can say. This is significant as it celebrates the origin of humanity that symbolically celebrates womanhood. The creation in this story is a woman in charge. So women can be in charge. Even today in some situations, please never let die. Make sure that have that power, have that zeal to be like, is it Overinna? Or like you choose wisely. That's what we are learning here. So the glorification continues. So can I look at this other theme? African mythology. The myths. We understand this as literature students. So all people struggle with the paradox of human existence. we can assume, though not proven, that all creatures have sought explanations for the secrets and mysteries around them in the form of origin myths and genre to be found all over the world. Yeah, all peoples have looked for answers to the eternal questions of how life began. Yeah, we can debate on how life began, historical or biblically. There are other questions that are not answered. Even here, when we talk about Woyengi creating, there can be other questions, but let's leave it there and say a woman created these creatures. So all this is about therefore in literature, myths must be understood for they are a powerful genre. Myths confirm and explain how divine man created order out of chaos and how he succeeds in imposing his own will on nature. So you find man has his own position on earth. Even a woman in this situation, in this book, the myth of a woman being a creator of creatures on earth. So African traditional religion, ATR. So as Africans, at least we can tell something about creation. Here, Moondde Ijimere has put it clearly in this play. So, African traditional religion, wherever it is practiced, has some defining characters. Ijimere brings out the point that religion in African society seems to be the support, pivot, hinge around which every activity revolves here on earth. Religion, which place is not religious oriented, who is not religious. So there's some religious, the sword bearers are praising. There's a religious type of praise that shows a lot of, some worship that is not, foreign, something that is not imported. As Africans, we have a way of worship. It comes out. Here we have a goddess and creatures, and their choices. So all this, it can be a theme in this book. Love and friendship. How does this become a theme in Woyengi? In showing us the love and friendship that exists between Overinna and Lake. Ijimere is showing us the backbone of the African society, love and kinship. This is what we value as Africans. So Ijimere brings out this bond between Lake and Overinna. This is how we used to live. It is today that we don't, care much about another man's child. That time, whoever who is a woman, whoever, she meets younger than them, they would say, "How are you, my daughter?" Or "How are you, my son?" This love and friendship that we see Overinna and Lake exhibiting. Overinna is free to visit Lake and play with Lake's children, family ties. This is how we lived as African. It's just this time that we are being eroded, but this is what, Moondde Ijimere wants us to know in this book, that we should love one another and we should have a complete friendship as families. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, may I itemize the themes as follows. 1, lack of contentment, greed, jealous, and envy, ambition, and pride. These are some of the themes in the book, in the play Woyengi. Also, one cannot fight supreme authority. lack of wisdom, glorification of women, African mythology, African traditional religion, love and friendship, and non-reversal of a choice. Once you choose, that is fine. Wow, it has been marathon. Thank you for listening. And these are the references that we used to come up with the work above. I thank you. The host. The host. The host. The host.
Thank you so much, Doc. Indeed, you've done justice to the presentation. I'll now allow everyone to participate for any clarifications, any questions, any contributions. The lines are open. You raise your hand, unmute yourself, and we allow you to contribute. Maureen Kalomwe says, wonderful presentation. Thank you, Maureen.
Oh, my boss. Good afternoon.
Sir Alex says, what a brilliant presentation on the drama. Thank you, Alex. Any contributions? People have resorted to typing as opposed to speaking.
There's a hand from Mr. Tembo Jonathan.
Sorry?
There's a hand from Tembo Jonathan.
Oh, okay. Yes, Mr. Tembo, and welcome. How is Nyimba?
We are doing well. And how is Lusaka?
I don't know how I hate Lusaka.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, I want to thank Dr. Moondde for the presentation. I've really followed the book. I've never read it before. I should be very frank. But the presentation has made me like the novel. I just want a clarification on the part of African methodology or African mythology. Just clarification on how he has elaborated this one as one of the themes.
Mr. Tembo, before you mute yourself, just once more, the question, the last part of the question.
I'm saying I just wanted him to elaborate on African mythology, which he has elaborated. I've understood and followed all other themes, and I've not connected too well on the African mythology. Issues of love and friendship, glorification of women, and so on and so forth. I've followed them too well. I just wanted him to elaborate on this one. Thank you.
On African mythology.
Yes, please.
Doc,
Thank you so much.
Just in a sentence or two, African mythology.
Yeah, generally, here we are simply looking at, there are so many stories about how things started on earth. We have so small stories, some myths in our, all over the world. So here, this one is a myth that a woman creates human beings. We have other stories that we know about a woman, maybe had one teeth, one eye. There are those stories. But when you read inside, you discover there is a lesson within that mythological orientation. That's what I meant.
Okay.
I don't know.
Mr. Tembo?
Thank you so much. I've gotten it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, there was another hand. Carol, unmute yourself. And as well.
Hello.
Yes, Carol.
Hello, Chief.
The video as well.
Thank
We
you
want to
so
see
much.
you. The video,
No,
we want to see you, Carol.
No, Chief. No. Hello, can I go ahead?
Okay, you are making us imagine we are literature people. We are imagining what you, the state in which you are. If you are broadcasting from the bedroom, go ahead.
There you are. Okay.
Oh, good.
Hello, good evening once again. You've seen me?
Yes, Carol.
Yes, wonderful presentation. Doc, thank you very much. I've never read this novel before, but I can assure you I can go to class now and teach.
No, it's a play.
Just basing on what a play. Thank you, Chief. Basing on how you have hammered and presented it very well. Wow, I've learned quite a lot.
Thank you.
It's the next novel, it's the next play I'm doing with my learners. And I was telling myself it will be the last one since I haven't read it yet. So right now I'm preparing notes basing on what you were teaching and presenting. I've learned quite a lot. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. Drop your hand.
Okay.
Any other questions, clarifications? Alex, you wrote something I don't want to read. I want you to elaborate. Sir Alex?
Yes, Chief. I was just trying to bring out something which I have noticed in this play by Moondde Ijimere. Are you able to get what I'm saying?
Very well, yes.
Yes, in the first place, sorry, let me take this opportunity to say big thanks to Doc Moondde for the well-presented lesson on the play of Woyengi. This play is so interesting in the sense that it's new and many people have a lot of expectations about it and others have not taken time to look at it. But I must say that this book is so good in the sense that to me, it is more of a theological part. It has a lot of God's kind of nature or God's creation in it. So what I've posted in the inbox is that I feel Ogboimba ended up being tears up to now as we are speaking, because if you read the part where Woyengi chases after Ogboimba, she finds her in the house of Lakpe and she searches everywhere and eventually sees her in the eyes of the pregnant woman. So there another hidden explanation to that, but I'll end on that and I'll just say Ogboimba remains like that because of the pride she had trying to fight the authority, and those are the end results. So it's also important to learn as a theme, that when you want to challenge something, usually the end results are usually something else, not the way we wanted. Thank you so much, moderator, and thank you very much, Doc Moondde and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Alex. Another clarification, Doc, can you go to the slide which talked about glorification of women, something to do with glorification of women? A highly debatable question.
Okay. Yeah. As I'm getting there, can I say something on this one who is hiding in our eyes?
Yes, Doc.
We are generally envious people. We are generally, engulfed with pride. So that Overinna who ends in our eyes too. We are born greedy. Sorry, we have that greedy. Should I say all these themes that we have discussed above? Most of them, they point to many of us in this auditorium. Man created on earth has these characteristics. So all we need to do now, when we envy, we must have what we call self-control so that we don't confront with the goddess. That's what I wanted to say, sir.
Okay. Right, glorification of women. A long tradition of negativism towards women had led to an oppressive moral ideology whose prescriptions for virtue involves silencing women and forcing their submission to men. How I wish somebody can pick this so we debate it.
So women created here.
That's how life is supposed to be.
Thank you.
I saw that. I saw Dr. Mulea's hand was up. He's dropped it. Is that Dr. Msonda? Is that Dr. Msonda? Benson?
Thank you, Chief.
That's Dr. Msonda, right?
Speaking.
Doc, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Good to have you.
That's great.
Doc.
Dr. Moondde. Dr. Moondde, thank you very much. Nice work there.
Thank you.
Am I audible enough? Okay, thank you. I want to specifically bring your attention to the theme of greed and jealousy. You've propounded so well, and we've appreciated that the character in question was really greedy. But when you are teaching, I was thinking again, is it possible to thank the character for not being naive, for not being just content with the status quo? Because normally women are in Africa, women are groomed to be that content, not to pursue things further. Now, here is a situation where we are seeing a character who can even go to the somewhat unreached area, wants to even challenge God, even desiring to be even above the sky, not wanting the sky to be the limit. I don't know if we can also go that way to see that this is a good thing that we found in our women in this society.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doc.
That's a very good.
You can drop your hand, Doc.
That's a very good observation, Doc. Here we are talking about excessive. You get me? We should be ambitious, but not excessively so. It shall lead us into problems. That's what Ijimere is trying to bring out in this play. The issue of being excessively, anything that is good, you want it. Anything that, no, you don't behave like that. Have a line of enviousness for good. Have a line, that appetite to have with boundaries. That way, there is nothing wrong, because see, when you are, ambitious, and people are able to, school you in your ambition, then you see the do's and don'ts easily, and you proceed. Not where you cut the advice. None of the above can say anything except yourself. It becomes a challenge. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mleya. Sir Alex, is that hand up? Is it a fresh hand? Okay.
Yes, Chief.
Okay, Dr. Mleya.
Hello, are you getting me, Chief?
Very well. Drop
Yes.
your hand, Doc.
Okay. I think my submission is I'm looking at the issues of feminism and patriarchal society in Africa. When you look at glorification of women, I like when you repeated reading the narration there, Doc. I mean, Chief. We discover that in all the African texts, if you look at things far apart, we have the issue of the issues of feminism,
yeah,
and also the treatment of women. You come to the concubine, you see that Ihoma and other women, the way they are treated by men, as if they are subhumans. Common among most of the tribes in Zambia. Look at the Tongas, so though you say it jokingly, most of the time, Chief, but it's something that is, prevailing among the Tonga society. Now, my point is, I was reading a book by, I think it's Ijimere, where he's talking about female husbands and male wives. That even when we look at the issue of feminism in Africa, you discover.
Oh, you
Doc,
have
muted yourself. Dr. Mleya, you have muted yourself. We can't get you.
Men. And when men are treated, mostly they don't have to come out because they fear, the society will look down upon them and and all those things. Now, my submission is, why don't we have a lot of texts among us from Africa to write more on some ill treatment from the women's side, like the way Ijimere did. Dr. Moondde can come up with one, Chief, you can come up with one text where the theme is the other way around, just to correct this sad status quo. I submit.
Yeah, it's a good one, but for me, my take, Doc, Dr. Mleya, you know me very well. I think for me, I'm a fan of the African treatment. I don't want to pretend about it. Let us not borrow anyway. No. Let that be a different debate, because we want to follow certain values from the West and be judged from the Western values point of view. I think we are Africans, and indeed we have our own way of running things. Every time and every society that has tried to change the way of living between men and women has turned out to be a disaster.
Yes. Maybe.
Chief.
Hello?
Yes, Doctor.
I think
yes,
I'm getting Dr. Mleya very well. You see, there are some women in our societies that have come out with very clear-cut ambitions, and they have done better than most of us in this auditorium. Why don't we write and tell the world that there are women who can do as men or better than men? Overinna here, she is very courageous. We have these
Yes.
characteristics amongst our people. We are not saying they should be on top and we should be under, but we can grow
Yes.
together.
Mhm.
That's the type of thinking I'm transplanting and incubating from Dr. Mlea.
Whatever
Yeah,
you say, you are actually saying they should be on top, or we should be exchanging. It can't happen. Carol, your hand has been up. Carol?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Carol, your hand is up.
I'm getting you. Hello?
Go ahead.
Yes, please. I just want to counter Dr. Mlea. Are you getting me?
Yes, we are getting you.
Okay, okay. I just want to make a counter contribution towards what Dr. Mlea said. Okay, so he says the women, there should be books to like look at the glorification of men, because one of the things looked at is the glorification of women. Hello?
We are getting you.
Yes, please. Okay, so when we look at Overinna, and as she goes to challenge Woyengi, a fellow woman, she has to go through the kingdoms. And when you look at the rulers of these kingdoms, all of them are men. And this is where we see that men are always on top of the women. They're always ruling the women and so on. And therefore, we see Overinna, as she goes to challenge a fellow woman, she's passing through all these kingdoms. And here we see that she's just trying to show that women can also challenge the men. And that's how come she tells, when one of the kings, I can't remember if it's Sembi or who, when he says she's too proud, she does not deny it. Because she really wants, hello?
The cock.
Yes, the cock, thank you, the cock, yes. She says, even if she's proud, she does not deny being proud, because she knows that all along, the men are actually downtrodden the women. And here she is trying by all means to put us women there. And I really support Overinna's courage, because here we see her defeating all the kingdoms of the male rulers, the Cock, Isembi, and the other one, Doc, help me. Olukan, yes.
Olukan, yes.
Yes, yes. So she goes through all these kingdoms, and this really shows the struggle the women go through, even in this world, just to be there on top. Even if we say there's equal opportunities, even now when you look at parliament, the women have really struggled to be there. Very few of them are there, because women are always downtrodden.
No one downtrods you, Carol, come on. Yeah?
You don't agree with me?
No, I don't.
Mr. Sinkara, that's the truth.
It's not
we shall
the
help
truth.
you, Mama, to tell the chief that
it's not
there
the
are people.
truth. No, let me first counter Carol. Carol, that is not true. Okay, no one downtrods women. No one downtrods women. Look at how I conduct myself towards you. And today you should tell me I downtrod you. Eh? Eh? Okay.
We are looking
Chief,
at
let her make her case.
Go ahead.
Chief, here we're looking at the bigger picture. For the educated men like yourselves, yes, we agree, you are there supporting us. But when you go in the villages, this is where you truly see that women are really downtrodden. Like Dr. Mlea put it, among the Tongas and many other tribes, those who don't work, you see that women are really treated like, I don't know. But among you, our educated colleagues, there's that respect. I'm not running away from that. But the majority, we really see it. And then my other contribution, can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
My other contribution is on when Overinna is chased and finally returns to earth and hides in the eyes of Lake. I just wanted to make a contribution here that this is where pride actually takes those of us and many others who may want to be proud. In the end, you start running away from your own shadow. And here, when I was teaching my learners, I asked each one of them to look at the eyes of another person, and I asked them to tell me who they saw. And actually, each one of them said, I can see myself there. And that is really a mirror of pride. And like Dr. Moondde said, if we don't leave it unchecked, it leads to distraction. Thank you so much.
Caro. Okay, comments reserved. But I can assure you, Caro, and everyone else in the house, the few times that women have decided to be on top, just the men at the bottom have to engage a lot of gears in order to make that woman succeed. It is not easy work. Let's move on. Yes, Sir Alex.
Yes, Chief. Thank you very much, members. Let me narrow my contribution to this text. Let's look at this issue. Overinna was given a chance to choose to become what she wanted. Same as Lake. She also chose to be what she is. Now, the jealousy, the envy, everything about Overinna comes out as a result of what she sees in the fellow woman. What do you make of that? Okay, we notice that women also feel bad about their fellow women's success and other achievements. I think this is another lesson. Women need to try by all means not to do that, but to help one another. And I think it's very important that in as much as certain women are neglected and the like, but in this case, let's look at what is the first thing which made you to be what you are. Did you choose, or it was by force? So let's be careful and let's be careful with the way we want to fight for identity amongst ourselves, whether male or female. Let's look at what the state in which we are, if we are forced or we chose to be in that state. So I agree with Doc and others to say in this text, Ijimere is trying to glorify women. And look at the other text, Mission to Kara, for instance. How were women considered? We just hear that women were used for work and maybe making babies and other things. But here we see women now are making life, creating life, like the goddess herself. And then the other point is that we see that the very woman who was fertile was able to give children to so many, such that the other fellow woman feels jealous about her. So women are being glorified indeed. And my advice to women is, even if you want to fight men, follow the right procedure. Okay. Yes, we see Overinna defeating men, Olokan, the Cock, and many others. But the question is, how? Why did they do that? They were there to advise her, don't take this route, but she was not able to listen to them. So in a real life situations, yes, women, let's fight. If you want, we can go on top, as men on the bottom, as Chief Lazarus said. But are we following the right procedure? Are we trying to injure others? Are we breaking the rules? Are we breaking the laws? So yes, let's come up with books. Let us write about the 50-50 positions that men and women should have. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Alex. It cannot work. 50-50 cannot work. And the idea of what men can do, women can do, that cannot work. Let us not question God in His own wisdom, you know. And also, when we say women are downtrodden, I want to agree. Women are downtrodden by fellow women, not by men. You know, not by men. The example that Carol gave, for instance, when you look at Parliament, the few women that are there, Carol, using her word, says they really struggled. Why did they struggle? Because the women, the fellow women, do not approve of the leadership of their fellow women. The majority of the voters in this country are women, and they would never vote for a fellow woman. Kateka contested as president under Heritage Party. Not a single woman voted for her. It is us men who voted for her. When the Titanic was sinking, the calling was, please, the few life-saving boats that are there, give them and save the women and the children. When there is a heavy battle in war, people will say, don't shoot, regardless of who is shooting. They will say, don't shoot women and the children. What does that mean? In my ignorant interpretation is that women are like children, and that is their place. Their children and women are supposed to be taken care of by men, and it is also supported by the Bible. God Himself said, you man, for this that you have done with this your woman, I'll case that you shall be toiling the land in order to make this woman happy. You will be working very hard in order to make this woman happy. God did not give that plea to a woman. It was to a man. That is a different topic and highly debatable. Dr. Mlea, remind me, there is a book, I've forgotten the author and the title, but it's a Zimbabwean female author. A book that talks about a headmaster who had a boy and a girl, and the girl was very intelligent, the boy was equally intelligent, and the father decided to send the boy to school, something. I can't remember that title. I'll bring it up next week. Dr. Msonda.
Is it Maru? Hello.
Maru, yeah. No, not
Yes,
Maru. No,
Maru.
no. No,
Not
it's not
Maru.
Maru. It's not Maru. Anyway, I'll bring it up next week, since we are continuing with literature next week. Dr. Msonda. Dr. Msonda, unmute yourself and drop your hand and speak.
Thank you, Chief. I am particularly interested in Obutunde's desire to turn tables upside down. Normally in literature, there is this masculine approach where women and men are put up there. But from the writing of Obutunde, he writes as if he's a woman, because literature of women right now, they are always fighting back, trying to put the woman on top of the man, trying to cover up, coming from behind as if it were in soccer. So I'm really thrilled by this approach. But again, I'm trying to learn one thing from this play. Is it allowed to change the mind? Is it so much bad, like you choose a path of life, as in from the Christian point of view, for example, you were in a wayward way. Then you say, no, I need to change. I need to be born again, so to speak. It's like Obutunde here is just telling us that once you choose, you are sentenced to that, like the philosophy of marriage and dying till death do us part. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Doctor. Dr. Mlea?
Yes, Chief. The book about first before I come to my comment. Are you getting me, Chief?
Yes, yes, yes.
Are you getting me, Chief?
Very loud and clear, Doctor.
The book we are talking about is the one that I did for my PhD. Yes,
Wow.
the book by Buga.
Sorry?
The book is Never's Condition.
Never's Condition,
The book
yes.
is Never's Condition by Tambuga.
Yes, yes, that's a book.
Yes.
I would want everyone in this house to read that book.
Yeah,
Hello,
I
Doc.
can even upload it. I have it. That's the one I was doing.
Please, Doc, I would love,
Yes,
please
Chief.
upload it. Let me have it and send it. I would love everyone to read that book. Then we can debate it squarely.
Okay. The story about Tambu and the other boy who were sent to school. Then the headmaster decided that the father decided to send the boy first.
Yes.
Okay. But
because that book to me is very close to reality. All of us here, men and women, if you have two children, a boy and a girl, they are equally intelligent, and you only have resources to send one. Which child would you send? Let's move on. Any other contributions before we wind up? Any other contributions? Where are the ladies in this house?
We are
Yes?
here.
It's only Carol that is speaking. Mary, you are here, sure. My
We are
own
here.
lady.
There are two Carrots here.
Chief, I'm here, Chief.
There are two Carols, yes. One has read the
I'm
book,
here.
the other one hasn't read the book.
We are we are very much present, listening.
No, don't just listen, contribute. Mary Mushindu, my own Mary, talk.
Listening and following, Chief. You know the house chores. I'm listening and following my chief.
Now, that is the problem you women have. After this, you go and say we were downtrodden, we could not even speak. It is just the men who were speaking.
We are quiet now.
We are following the conversation.
No, but that's where the problem is with women. You know?
Yeah.
You choose to submit and you go complaining. That is a male dominated. Didn't you see? The host was a man, the moderator was a man, the presenter was a man. It's a male dominated. We give you to come and present.
Hello, Chief.
Yes.
Not at all.
Enala Nyirenda, unmute yourself and show the video and drop a hand.
No videos for now.
Okay, you see, typical of women. Go ahead.
Chief, please stop classifying us women. We are not livestock. We don't have a typical behavior. So you don't say typical of women. We are not livestock. Like you are saying, Keto. No, please don't be chauvinist.
Don't be chauvinist.
Yes, you are sounding chauvinistic, so I hope you are not, because I'll sue you for being sexist.
This is just an academic discussion, Enala.
Yes, sir, I'm following.
Sometimes it's important to provoke.
It's just that the debate ended up centering on one theme of glorification of women. But I think it's a good idea that writers come up with. I think one thing we need to note here as literature scholars is that from the traditional background, women had a different place compared to today. So you'd find that all the books that we are reading, mostly women are seen as the ones that just need to be behind, and the men are following like that. The men are leading and the women are following. Of course, as others have said, it's a debate for another day, but it was a good presentation. I enjoyed the lesson. Thank you so much. I'll be teaching this next term to my students I will use some of the information that I got here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ena. Thank you so much. I'm not what at Joven, what I'm not. I was just trying to provoke the debate. Ask those that know me. All right, Carol.
Question time now.
Yes, Doc. Sorry. Yes, Chief.
Yes.
I'm just looking at, I've read this book. What actually prompted me to read it is after the first presentation Doc Moondde made.
Okay.
It was so interesting, and I must mention, because of that presentation, the teaching of this book has been very easy to me. And I'm actually very happy that it has replaced Kongi's Harvest, which has been a problem to most of our learners. Now, before we go, like you said, we need to go. I'm looking at the role of children. The role of children. When you look at LATAZ children, as they play, and later on they make Overinna join in their play. I was looking at that the angle of people like. I don't know how to put it, because I know there are some of our colleagues who don't have children, and I don't want to injure anyone. Is it right to put it that what actually makes Overinna angry is the fact that she does not have children? And when we look at society, is it that those people who don't have children are looked down upon, and that's why you find in some instances some of them are temperamental? Are you getting me?
Yes. Those are very
quite sensitive, but I don't know how we look at the role of LATAZ children. They are playing, and Overinna actually joins them. She even listens to what LATAZ says, to say one's child is one's child. You cannot, a child you buy is a slave. You cannot like tie a string around one's child.
Yes.
Like that is actually what prompts Overinna to go and challenge Woyengi. I don't know how you look at the role of children.
Well,
okay. Doc or anyone, would you want to? That's a very serious intellectual scratch question. Anyone to take that up?
Maybe let me come in, Chief.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah, here there is nothing like injuring one another. That is the life. I'm looking at how I can bring out to a thematic, orientation on what the Madam has said. That is truth. A childless person has that pain that is always in them. But what is important is control. Self-control is very, very important. Those people didn't choose to be barren. They were born barren. And those who have children should not mock those that have that have no children.
Yeah.
In life, that's how we should live. Let us appreciate one another in the manner we are. That is my take.
Okay. Enala, your hand has been up.
Okay, my contribution on that one is that I think society has also a lot to do with how people interpret things.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we look at two different women and then we think one is more of a woman just because she has children and the other is not, I think then there's a problem there. I think all that borders on how society interprets all matters. Perhaps Overinna felt lack because of comments that were coming, as my sister has just mentioned just now. At the same time, looking at the joy, perhaps, of course, for her, it's different because she had a choice to make. She made a choice to say she doesn't want to have children. She wants power instead and to be second to Woyengi. But then look at it in an instance of a person that did not take a choice to be who they are. And then they have to suffer consequences of what society thinks about them or where society groups them. So I think as members of a community, we are responsible for people's perhaps ambition and how far they go in order to choose to have what they do not have. That's my take.
Thank you, Caro. Sorry, Enala. Sir Alex.
Yes, Chief. This question is very important, which has been asked. Allow me to answer it in this form. Look at in the Bible, there's a story there's a parable Jesus gave about 3 servants who were given 3 different talents to do whatever they wanted to. And there's a servant who did not multiply the talent he was given. And what will happen to that servant who sees others enjoying life with the money they were given? They have multiplied, they have done whatever. So as Doc Moondde said, we are in a society where whatever we decide to do, we have things that can either make others sad or happy. Sometimes it's ignorantly done, but you, because of the situation in which you are, and because of the situation in which you chose to be, makes you to feel to say, okay, maybe they're talking about me. You tend to become envious and the like. So I think when those 3 servants were given those talents, in the same scenario, those creatures were given a chance to state their choices. So if one chooses to be a mother of many, and one chooses to multiply the money given, it's neither here nor there. It's up to you. So whatever comes your way, you must be ready to be strong, and then sometimes ignore, but above all, work hand in hand. You remember, Lakpe is also telling Ogboyemba to say, my children, not yours. Okay, you can have one. I think something like that. So it's a sign that she's being helped to feel part and parcel of motherhood. You remember, that's why we learn friendship. That's why the theme of love and friendship come about. The friendship between Ogboyemba and Lakpe. So let's learn to appreciate our friends' help, but let's not blame them when they are improving lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. I think we need to come to the close. Dr. Msonda.
Thank you, Chief. I want to ride on the appreciation that is being given, that we are appreciating the play because it is bringing out the change. But I want to help in thinking. Why is the character? Why has the character changed the mind after visiting the friend who has children? Could this be because there is something that this family, together with the children, are doing that is making her feel bad? Or could it be that she has suddenly realized the value of having children and therefore would want to have their own? If it's companionship, why is it that she has refused to accept an offer of a child, but insists on having children of her own? We therefore say society also has the way we treat our friends, the way people are seen after they have made choices. I'm tempted to look at those who decide to be priests. Sometimes the way we treat them, they decide to abandon the calling and decide to take a newer path. I don't know if we can think in the other way. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I come in, Chief?
Oh, all right. So, thank you, Dr. Msonda. I don't, the questions Dr. Msonda has asked, we need to respond to them.
Can I come in, Chief?
Yes, Doc. Dr. Moondde.
That's you know, a very serious thinking by the doc.
Yeah.
A very serious one, actually. That is real life. Like the example of the priests or the sisters coming back to wanting to have also children. The choices that we make as human beings, as portrayed in this book, all I can say is to avoid the laughter and damage. The creator says we should choose wisely. I'm not saying our colleagues didn't choose wisely, neither am I saying they didn't. I'm just somewhere.
Okay.
So let's be content with what we have and what we can manage. Otherwise, that thinking is really of season. It's a very serious thinking by the doc.
Okay.
That applies.
Right. So thank you very much. Allow me to read what, to write on what Campbell MacDonald has written to all of us. Campbell MacDonald says, the excellent participation during this presentation shows that the topic under review was well advertised, thereby giving participants enough time to dig deeper. The presentation was also excellent. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
MacDonald, thank you so much for this observation. Even as we come to the close, I wish to announce, first of all, indeed, thank everyone for participating. More so, our three dons, Dr. Msonda, Dr. Mleya, and Dr. Moondde, for coming on board. Please, we really need you here. Continue enriching us with the academic acumen that you have, which we need to tap in. Having said so, next Sunday, Dr. Mleya will drive us through. Dr. Mleya, can you announce the topic?
The topic, are you getting me, Chief?
Yes, we are.
Yes, the topic will be Afrofuturism or Afro science fiction. And I want to do a comparative study of Nedi Okarafo, Binti, and Zara the Wind Seeker, the two books. But there will be also a video presentation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Those are A-levels now.
Now, before we do that, Doctor, before we do that, by the powers vested in me as moderator, why don't you begin with you floated two topics, one on the river between, and then this one. Why don't you begin with the one on river between, which we are already so familiar with, and then we move on to this one so that you give us time to go and look at, do some research as well, and look at the characters you have mentioned, the comparative analysis of the characters, so that we can have a fruitful presentation as the one we have today.
Okay.
My proposal.
No. No, that's fine. I can go with that, so it's okay. Yeah.
But
I was looking at maybe. sorry, I want to break the monotony, the monotony text that are in syllabus so that we can have other themes in literature like Afro science fiction about the two Western fiction.
Yes, that's a very good topic, but what I was looking at is, if you look at today's participation, it was very high, and a lot of members joined in because this is a book that directly impacts on all of us. It's a new book in the syllabus, and most people were forced to read it even before today's presentation, hence the participation. I think
okay,
it would do very well for us to follow it up with another book which is in the syllabus and which people are familiar with, so that we can have a fruitful participation. And I'm also looking at the intertwine that is between today's presentation and the river between presentation, issues to do with women, issues to do with Africanism. Those will cement these two texts so well.
yeah, okay.
Before we move on to breaking the monotony.
Yeah, okay. No, I'll do that. I'll prepare on the river between.
Oh,
thank you.
All right. So people have become very good at writing. I agree. Someone has written that. Carol says, I agree with the presentation of the river between. Sir Alex also says, I agree, river between is what we are teaching right now. Okay, so next Sunday, we will have a presentation from Dr. Mlea on the river between. I don't know the exact topic, how he has phrased the topic. He has is set for the presentation, for the two presentations. So they will come concurrently. But next Sunday, we'll do the one on the river between, and then the other Sunday, the one on the
Afro science fiction.
Yes. And suffice to say that Dr. Mlea, in fact, Dr. Mlea, yeah, I don't even know why you wanted to switch. Dr. Mlea has actually written a book to do with the topic to do with the Afrofiction, the book which is selling and trending on the, Dr. Mlea, what market is that? Amazon. It's Amazon, right?
Yes. Amazon, yes.
Please, even before he presents, let's have a look at that book so that we can have a basis of discussion. I was telling Dr. Mlea that some of us personally, I don't believe in reading soft copies. Please, Doc, work on the hard copy. I'm still ancient in that area.
Copy, yes.
Yeah. So I think with that said, allow me to thank all of you for coming on board. Indeed, this was one of the most celebrated and discussed, panel of discussion. Thank you so much. Doc, do you have any last words you would want to bring on board? Oh, sorry, Dr. Moondde, we have 3 docs here.
Well, just to thank the people for participating, and I wish everyone all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Remove your screen, Doc. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in today. Where is Enala? Enala's exited. Enala. Oh, she's there. Enala, thank you so much. You need to prepare for a topic we debate, my dear.
Good night.
All right. So good night, everyone. You can begin to exit. Thank you so much. Let's meet next Sunday.
Good night, sir.
Good night.